Next question. Jocko. Hi, guys. How about judo as a martial art compared to jiu-jitsu?
Judo is a great martial art. And jiu-jitsu is actually rooted in judo. And I guess originally judo was rooted in jiu-jitsu. And there's some connections there. I mean, Maeda from Japan, he taught judo to Carlos Gracie in Brazil, which was then learned by Helio Gracie, who then morphed it into what we consider now to be Brazilian or Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. But you can see clearly if you look at judo that Jiu-Jitsu exists inside. I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exists inside of judo. There's no doubt about it. But there are some things about judo that have morphed it into a different direction. Number one, in judo, if you throw somebody and anything touches the ground before their feet, you win automatically. You can also pin people in judo. If you hold them down for, I think it's 20 seconds, then the match is over and you win both of those. So what that does is now you can imagine if you get thrown, okay, you win. If you're on the ground with your back down for 20 seconds, you win. So what does that do? It eliminates a part of fighting that is very important. And there are really two pieces of judo. One of them is called randori, which is basically rolling, and the other one is nuwaza, which is groundwork. And those two are directly correlated or part of jiu-jitsu. But jiu-jitsu, bottom line, in both these, if you don't know anything about these two, jiu-jitsu allows the fight to go on even after you get thrown. And it allows the fight. There's no pinning in jiu-jitsu. You are allowed to fight and continue to fight until the match is over. And you can recover from being pinned, just like you can recover from being thrown. Yep. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, today, we were training today, and we got some good judo players. Keeling was, judo Keeling?
Yeah.
And he tossed Andy, Big Andy. And, I mean, because he's better at judo. And he tossed him, and it was legit. Then Andy ended up getting out of that position and getting in a better position.
Right.
And so the fight wasn't over just because he got thrown.
Right.
And so that's one of the big benefits of jiu-jitsu is that you will generally learn better ground game. Mm-hmm. But judo, you will definitely have better takedowns. I mean, a judo player is going to have better takedowns than a jiu-jitsu player. And I'll tell you, if we're just going to start ranking things, you got to throw wrestling out there because wrestling has possibly better takedowns than judo. I mean, with the gi, sure, judo has an advantage. But if you don't know this, in 2010, they actually banned the double leg takedown from judo competitions in the whole world.
Right.
Why? Because wrestlers came in and started double legging people. Boom, boom. Right. Just hitting double legs. So, yes, I would say judo is an awesome martial art. It really, in some ways, could be considered the precursor to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even though judo itself comes from actual Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. But I would say if you got the opportunity to learn judo, yeah, learn it. Learn, especially, you'll learn the takedowns, and those are great things to have. In real life, they're great things to have. In self-defense situations, to be able to take someone down with judo throws is awesome. In jiu-jitsu competitions, if you're a judo player in jiu-jitsu competitions, you're gonna get the takedown when it's a gi competition, unless you're going against a really good wrestler. Yep. So, good thing to augment jiu-jitsu with, but I would say you would want to make jiu-jitsu your main focus.
Agreed. So a lot of times when you learn jiu-jitsu, a lot of guys, especially nowadays, a lot of guys avoid the takedown element.
Yes.
So they know ground game is just vast, but the takedown element, so you'll get a lot of people pulling guard, which just means pulling a guy down on top of you.
Yep.
That's what pulling guard
is. Which is a crazy thing to do in a real fight.
Yeah, but man, if you're good enough,
for sure,
you can totally do it. That's what's crazy about it.
But even if you're really good at it, you don't want to be pulling people on top of you in a street fight.
Compared to being able to take them down?
Compared to being able to, it's not even close.
Yeah, no brainer. Yeah, not even close. So what I like about, wrestling, I think is more, arguably more dynamic of a thing because it's all these different situations, even on top of just the takedown part. But man, judo, I feel like it takes a little less energy and it can kind of keep you in positionally. It can keep you in safe areas when you're standing up, because like these weird positions where you're on balance and that guy's off balance, or you're controlling the guy's weight when you're standing up. And so I learned like I took judo when I was young for a little bit, and
that's weird. I never would have guessed that.
For real?
Yeah.
That's for a little bit. Anyway, and then but as an adult, I learned a little bit of judo from Terry Sokuju. Mm-hmm. He has a judo background. And man, he was showing me stuff. He's like, hey, wrestlers will do this.
Yeah.
And he'd kind of show how they grab your neck, and he's like, and here's what you do as a judo guy. And it's an elaborate thing he taught me, but it's like, dang, these are real useful things for jiu-jitsu, even aside from the takedown part of it. And then going to the takedown part of it, if you know the takedowns solid, even if you know like 3 or 4 really good ones and you're really good at them, that'll change your whole approach and your whole outlook on jiu-jitsu. So, okay, and here's an example. Let's say you go into, I don't know, a party or everyday thing where you could find yourself in a situation where you gotta get in a fight or defend yourself or your friend or whatever. If you know takedowns, especially takedowns where you don't have to like risk like doing a double leg in a real situation. It's kind of an all or nothing situation. You can't it's not like this gradual escalating of force with a double leg takedown.
I see what you're saying. I see where
so
you're going with this.
With judo, it's different.
You can be much more subtle with your takedown.
With varying levels of force, with the judo situation. So if you're good at that, man, when you get into these situations, it's like no factor. You're not worried about it at all. Compared to like, you don't know takedowns, but your jiu-jitsu's sick. You're like, now I got to get this thing to the ground. And it's like, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Once we get there, I'm fine. But just that one little crossover from standing or no fight to fight is like, it kind of can provide some anxiety for you. But if you know that judo, whatever.
Yep. I guess the overall point is learn that judo.
Very useful.
Learn that wrestling.
And that's not to mention when the other guy knows it, you know what to do too.
Yeah.
Because
otherwise you're just getting tossed. Yes. Keeling tossed me the other day. Exactly,
bro.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be funny and fun because they can toss you and you land on your back and stuff like that. But man, you land on your head or something.
Yeah, that's
crazy,
true. There is some validity to the ippon in that if you were in a street fight and you got thrown and the person puts you down in a bad way. I mean, you're still. It's not like you're going to get knocked out 100% of the time, probably not even 50% of the time. But there is a chance that getting thrown ippon style in a street fight could be. I mean, you go pull up some judo videos of people getting tossed ippon style, even in the high levels. Yep. Some of those guys, if they landed on the street, they would be injured.
Yeah,
not all the time. And you learn to fall in judo. You learn how to break your fall. Yep. But yeah, some of those would be devastating if they happen to you in the street. So that's why ippon does have some validity to it, that if you toss someone super hard and they landed on their back or on their head on the street, on concrete, they would be severe. It could be a fight ender. But it's not going to be a fight ender. Yes. That's the problem. It's not going to be a fight ender. Right. It's possible that it ends a fight. Just like a left hook is possibly a fight ender, but it's not guaranteed to end a fight.
I'll tell you a guaranteed fight ender: rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke will end a fight.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, and knowing some judo, and especially knowing some judo moves that I feel like I'm pretty solid at, if you do it against a guy who doesn't really know that much judo, it's your choice whether you want to put him on his head or his back. It's your choice. So if that's the other guy's choice that you're fighting with or competing against or whatever, then that's his choice, not yours. So that's the reason to at least know.
Yeah, for sure you should know. For sure. Learn judo.
Yep.
Learn wrestling. Learn jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the most complicated. Learn it first. Spend the most time on it. Learn to strike too. Muay Thai, boxing. Saying this for the millionth time.
Said it once, said it again.
Although I actually do sometimes leave judo out. Not intentionally, but I just do.
Yeah. I personally like judo better than wrestling. I like it personally. I like it better than wrestling because when I was starting to learn wrestling with
I'm gonna sick Greg train on you. He's gonna come and get you.
I know. Well, I tell him this too. But I'm not saying I dislike wrestling. I'm just saying I like judo better because like I said, when you shoot a double or a single or something and he stuffs it,
Yeah, you're in a bad
you're
situation.
in a worse situation than if you go for, some, Sayanagi or something and you don't get, well, he's on your back, but you know what I mean, though. It's
Yes.
a failed judo throw, you have way less of a price to pay, typically.
Do you usually have less of a price to pay on a judo throw than you do on a wrestling takedown? Understood.
Yeah, and of course it depends, but yes, generally speaking, in my experience, that's why. And
I'll give that to you with like a small percentage of agreement, not a full.
yeah, I mean, it's not that black and white for sure. That's what I'm
Because you
saying.
look at Greco guys, Greco-Roman wrestlers.
exactly,
Now
yes,
they're not
agree,
grabbing your leg. Now they're not
agree.
shooting on you anymore.
Yep, agree.
And believe me, you're getting tossed.
Yep.
You train with a good Greco guy. They're not grabbing your legs at all. They're not even shooting.
Yeah.
But they are throwing you,
Right.
and they don't have to grab the gi to do it.
Yep.
So Greco, Greco's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Agree. And then also the judo thing, it tends to, in my experience, take less out of you.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Yeah.
Is the exertion
Yeah.
generally.
That's what I found. Generally,
Again,
yeah. Yeah. This
We're
is not
making
black
a
and white.
lot of generalities. Please don't go crazy because of some generalities that Echo made.
Yeah. Fully. Wait, are we good there? You have any more to add?
I have nothing further to add.
All right.
Keep training everything you can.
Yeah. I like the judo. Thumbs up for the judo, though, for sure.